Welcome back, everybody. It is time for Unit 2 in ENG 107. And as a quick reminder for this week, starting this week, tomorrow on Tuesday, the July 1st, 7 p.m. Eastern will be the first official English 107 workshop of the term. Remember, we have those each week from week 2 through week 7. No workshop last week, no workshop in week 8. If you're able to join us, you can do so through the link that is on the main page when you're in your Blackboard, which I will show you. And in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and take a look at what's happening in unit number 2. All right, so welcome back. As I mentioned, we are entering unit 2. And the theme this week is solutions. Now, I'm going to turn on what is the student mode so that this looks more like you would see it, just in case there's anything extra. So in Unit 2, as I mentioned, the theme is solutions this week. And we're focusing on a really important topic for writing in college, especially. And that is the fairly recent development of AI systems such as ChatGPT and others that um, can be used inappropriately uh, to cheat on writing assignments. To be completely blunt about it, um, AI is not necessarily a bad thing in and of itself. However, if we are utilizing it to do our writing for us, that's cheating. If we use it to help us plan out our writing or think of maybe some additional points that we hadn't thought of before, that's an absolutely fine use of AI for your writing. We even encourage you to use one AI system, which is Grammarly, because Grammarly will help you correct your grammar and punctuation. Now, Grammarly is an AI generator, but it is not writing your content. It is just helping you polish your content. Although sometimes even Grammarly will suggest a word that you didn't think of, something more advanced in terms of the sentence structure. And so even with something like Grammarly, sometimes there's a fine line between your thoughts and thoughts that are being kind of provided for you. So this is an interesting topic, something that will face you in your college career, and something that is highly noticeable uh, if you are relying too heavily on AI generation. There's a lot of things when you use AI that kind of signal that this was not a human being writing this passage. So as we go throughout the term, I want you to remember that you are, nobody cares what a computer thinks. We care what you think. So when you are writing your discussion board posts, your responses to others on the discussion board, your writing assignments, and your journals, you want to make sure that you are being you and that you are including personal experiences and details from your own life and experience that showcase that. So, this week, though, we are going to be looking at AI generated content, and you're going to be finding an article about it in order to help you dig into the subject. So let's take a look first at the readings and resources from the ebook this week. We have two chapters, one on the intro and conclusion paragraphs, and the other on paragraphs in general. You will notice that throughout our course, you're going to be writing things that are divided up into paragraphs, and they are the basic structure that we use for all academic writing. So getting that concept is an important one. The Most of our assignments are going to be one single paragraph. We do have some longer assignments later on that are 3-paragraph essays, but for the most part, you're going to be dividing things into individual paragraphs. And so learning about what those are and how to construct those is really important. We also have an article about plagiarism and why it is frowned upon in higher education. There is a link to our APA template, which I will show you when we get to the writing assignment this week. And then we have several videos from Scribber.com, which is one of my favorite go-to websites for all things writing these days, on what is plagiarism, how to avoid it, how to use quotations, and how to paraphrase. So when we incorporate research into our writing, and we do incorporate research into our writing, especially in academic writing styles, we do utilize what other people have said, but we do it responsibly. And that's how we avoid plagiarizing. Some plagiarism is accidental. Sometimes we maybe forget to put a citation in or forget to put quotation marks around something, even though we use the exact same wording that they did. Um, Bad plagiarism or intentional plagiarism, of course, is getting someone else to write your work for you, copying and pasting something that you didn't write, which includes having ChatGPT or another system write for you. So take a look at the readings and the videos, and then you will be ready to proceed to the graded, almost ready to proceed to the graded assignments. One thing we didn't have last week that we have 2 of this week, they are called interactive exercises. Um, Interaction is important in learning. So when we read something, sometimes that feels very passive. We're not actually necessarily interacting with the material, although we do want to be active readers. So in most of our units, you will have these interactive exercises that give you some hands-on interaction to do, and that will help you to navigate the concepts. So the first one this week is about submitting an assignment in Blackboard. I'm also going to show you how to do that, but getting used to putting your work into Blackboard is going to be important. It is absolutely required that you upload documents into the Blackboard. When you are writing in the discussion board or the journal, like you did last week, you can just write in the box and post it. However, this week you're going to have your first formal writing assignment, and all formal writing assignments will be created using Word or some other system. We have one assignment, for example, that we use PowerPoint for rather than Word. Um, but you'll need to create your work in a program, save it to your computer, and then upload it into Blackboard. So this first one is going to help you learn how to do that. The second one is going to focus more on plagiarism, which of course is our, main topic this week. In the discussion board this week, you're going to be focusing on a paragraph that a student wrote, a sample student here, and you'll see the paragraph in quotation marks there that starts with "My goals are to be a middle school guidance counselor." So you're going to review the paragraph, and you're going to answer the questions that are provided about that paragraph. What do you consider some of the things the author did well? What are some areas that need improvement? And if you had to write a paragraph on the same topic, a goal that you want to achieve, would you submit this sample paragraph or something similar to your instructor? Why or why not? There is always pluses and minuses to a piece of writing. So make sure that you do list and mention some of the things that you thought the author did well as some things that needed to be improved. And then, of course, what would your paragraph look like if you were going to write on the same topic, this goal? Okay. Make sure that you post your own response fairly early in the week. We don't have a specific deadline in English 107, but typically in online classes, you will be required to post your own response by Wednesday, which gives you then the rest of the week to come back and respond to others. So getting in that habit now is a really good idea because it's going to serve you well in later classes. You have until Sunday night to do the whole assignment, but if you don't post your own response until Sunday, then people won't be able to respond to you. So it's important to get that done early in the week. All right. Next, we have our first official writing assignment. Unit 2 assignment and submission link is called Finding a Source, and this you're going to actually be locating a source. So you will notice whenever we have a formal writing assignment, there is going to be what we call an assignment sheet. Unit 2 assignment and rubric PDF. This is our assignment sheet. We're going to pull that up in a minute. We also have a link to the template. Remember, there was a link to the template in the readings and resources. There is also a link to that template in this APA 7th edition link over on the far left-hand column. So you can always find that. I will also be giving you a document that you can work from when I share this video. I will also share the sample document with you. So first, though, let's go through the assignment. One of the things that I really encourage you to do, and I know that sometimes we don't have access to a printer or we have a printer, but printer ink is expensive and we don't want to print things out. So I totally understand that. However, I am a big believer in having these assignment sheets printed so that you can remember to look at it not only before you write your assignment, but while you're writing your assignment and before you turn it in to review one last time that you have done everything that was required. So you will notice when you see these, and I just kind of scrolled through so you could see what's in here. You have the instructions and the requirements, and then you have what's called the rubric. Now, we're going to delve more into rubrics in Unit 3, but understand that the evaluation rubrics are how your grade is determined. And you will have those not only for the writing assignments, but you'll have them for your journal. There's only one item on the journal one, but the discussion boards will also be graded using a rubric. Understanding how your grade is determined is going to help you to succeed because you will want to target this far right-hand column and get as many points as you possibly can. So let's look at something super easy. Paragraph length. If your paragraph is 6 or more sentences, you will get all of the points in that category. If it is shorter than that, you will not. That's how your grade is determined. Question 1, did you answer the question fully? Did you answer question 2? Did you answer question 3? Did you summarize the article? Did you provide a link to the source? I need to be able to look at the source as well. And then finally, and we always have this category, APA grammar, APA format, grammar, and mechanics. Did you polish your work? Did you proofread? Did you turn it in with 1,000 spelling errors or whatever? So you want to aim, of course, for all directions followed, and the rubric will help remind you of what you need to do. Okay, so here are the instructions. Using what you have learned about research, find a magazine article, a video, or a website about using AI generated content. Write a paragraph, at least 6 sentences, about the source. In your paragraph, address the following. Why did you pick the source? What is the source about? Which will include providing a summary in your own words. And then what makes this a good source to share with other college students or in a classroom? You will also include a link for your source. Now, ultimately, we're going to be creating APA citations for our sources, and I'm going to show you how to do that for this first assignment, but the only thing that you are required to include with this one is a link. So if you choose a website, you can just save the URL and submit that. But I'm going to show you how to cite your source. So I would love to see you go ahead and get ahead of the game and be creating real citations. Your document is going to be created using Word or some other form. You can use Google Docs if you want to, but as a post-university student, you have access, free access to Office 365, which includes Word, PowerPoint, Excel, all of those official Microsoft products that you normally have to pay a lot of money to get. All APA documents have a cover page. They are double spaced. They have 1 inch margins, and they all use a standard font in a standard size. The um, standard has always, in years past, been Times New Roman and 12 point, and that's still what is suggested. I am perfectly fine if you use whatever the default font and size is with your Word program. Um, because the more things you change, the more things you have to remember to change. So I'll show you how to do that though. All right. So when you're ready, you're going to find a source and then we're going to write about it. So I'm actually going to show you first how to get started with creating the document. So we're going to go to the um, post-university link that you should look familiar. And you will notice that under quick links right below Blackboard is Office 365. So we're going to click on that link and it's going to take us to a new web page. I did include a video back in the announcements before we really started um, the course on how to access this information. So here are apps. Okay, I really didn't need this, but that's okay. All right, let's just click out of here. All right, so we want to go to the apps and we want to go to Word. Okay, most of our assignments are going to use Word. We are going to have one assignment that uses a PowerPoint, but for the most part, we are writing things. So you're going to be using Word. And it will, of course, ask you to sign in. There are tons of documents that you can use. This is the APA template. I already have it saved in my stuff. So I'm just going to click on this. You can open it from the course as well. And APA documents have a header that has the page number in it. The only thing up there is the page number. So if you're using a older system that has something else in that header, please make sure that you're not using that anymore. You want to use the most up-to-date version. On the first page, you will notice there is a place for the title. You do want to give your work a title. So we're going to call this why it's not letting me. There we go. We're going to call this Unit 1. Oh, oh, it's read only. Okay, sorry, that's me. So what I need to do is I need to save it first. Um, hmm, Let me download it. That should let me do it. Now it's probably going to open in yeah, it opened in my full version of Word, but you can do that within the system as well. All right. So anyway, the title. We're going to change the title. I'm going to call this Unit 1 and AI Generation, something like that. Um, I always think it's important to give your work its own title, something that is not just Unit 1 assignment, but like what is it about? You're going to include your first and last name here. I'm going to channel the dog that is laying on the couch next to me, and he has 3 names, so we're going to use his full name. Yes, his name is Indiana Skywalker Jones. I can't say it really loud because he's right here. For the department name, you're going to put English or Department of English. Let's just do of English. And post university, of course, is our college. You're going to have the course number and the course name, which is ENG107, colon, the power of words. Oops, except I can't spell. Your instructor's name, of course, is Jackie Pierce. And the due date for this assignment is Sunday, which is the 6th. So we're going to put July 6th, 2025. All right. On page 2, the title occurs again. So it is Unit 1 and AI generation. And then this is where we will type our paragraph. Now you may notice that when I clicked on this, we have already got the first line indented. So when I'm typing my paragraph here, you will notice that the first line is indented and the rest of it is not. When you are starting new paragraphs, you can tab to create that indent. Or if we just hit enter here, it will re-indent for a new paragraph. We're not using more than one paragraph for this, so I'm going to get rid of it. But that's what it would look like. Your paragraph is going to be double spaced. The first line is going to be indented. And then you will have on the next page, you will have your references. So I'm going to move this up because this should not be, it should not be that low. References should be centered, and then this should all be one. And they did not do this right, which drives me crazy. But this is your citation, and it's going to have what's called a hanging indent. So if it is more than one line, which it may not be, we're going to have the bottom triangle moved over to the 1/2 inch. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. Notice it's exactly the opposite of a paragraph. So when we have our citation, that's what it's going to look like. Okay. Now we need to find an article. So I'm going to save this. We're going to call this um, Unit 2 sample ENG107, and it's term 1, 2025. We're going to save this on our computer. It will let you save things to the cloud, and you certainly can do that. I like to have it on my computer though, so I know for sure that I always have access to it. But that's just me. Okay, we're going to close these, the things that we don't need anymore, and we're going to go to the college library. So let's click on library. Now you'll notice when you open the library that this is where you can go to download Grammarly and sign up for your free Grammarly account. We are also going to be using the search key, and I don't know why this is not fully loaded, but I can click on the search and it will make me sign in 14 times. And we have a box. So a lot of people get confused about, well, can't I just Google things? Of course you can. You can absolutely Google the information, and we're going to do that in a second. But I want to encourage you to start utilizing the college resources now, because when you do get into more advanced courses, you're going to be expected to use nothing but real academic sources. So it's an important thing to learn right away. So we're going to put in AI, and it's probably going to give me yeah, there we go. AI generated content. I specifically want to talk about writing. So I'm going to put in AI generated writing just to see. There's a button here called full text, which you do want that to be something you get, because what happens is you then have access to the whole document. So there's lots of sources that you can pick from. I'm gonna scroll down and see. This one looks interesting because this kind of shows you what I was talking about earlier, that sometimes you can easily tell if something has been generated by AI writing. So let's just click on this one. Let's take a look at this. When you click on the title, it will open the kind of information about it. This is from August of last year, and it will give you the ability to download it. You can save this on your computer, although most people don't want to save whole articles on their computer. So we're going to click on the access options, and you have two. You can use the PDF form, which is where you will actually see the page. I always use PDF if that's available. Online full text will just look more like a plain website type thing. So let's click on PDF, and this will be our article. Now, I will warn you that academic peer-reviewed articles are long. This one is 18 pages long. So this one might be a little more advanced than you need for this particular assignment. However, like I said, it's a good idea to start getting into utilizing academic sources right away. The other benefit of using library sources is this lovely button up here where it has the little quotation marks. You'll notice if I hover over it, it says cite. When I click on that, it will allow me to look at the APA citation for this source, which I am going to copy and I'm going to paste it in my Word document. Oh my gosh, I just realized that when I was sharing I did not share the screenshot. Oh, okay. Let me reshare something here. It's on me. I'm sorry. I was talking about the Word document and I was not showing it to you. But let me show you what it ends up looking like. And I am going to save this for you and send it to you. So this is what I was talking about with the title. This is what I was talking about with the first page information. This is where the title gets repeated. This is the paragraph. And this is where the reference or the link would go. So I'm going to paste that citation that I just copied into my Word document, which luckily you can now see. I'm going to do paste and I'm going to do something called match formatting. Oh, I don't want the whole thing to be in italics though. Okay, let me try just pasting. Let me undo that. I don't like that either. Let's do just keep text. There we go. Nope, it still made it all italics. I have no idea why it's all italics. Well, we're going to unitalicize and we're going to make the part italics that needs to be, which is just the title of the journal. Notice in this one, you can see that it's just the journal title that's in italics. So we're going to highlight that and italicize. Okay. This is your full citation. You do not have to use that for this particular assignment, but you are going to use it for all the other assignments. We're going to have real APA citations. So, like I said, I think it's a good idea to get used to it now. If you only want to include the link, you can. It's right here. Okay. Now, let's go find an article on the internet instead. Okay. So let's go to Google, except I can't spell. And we're going to put in AI generated writing and plagiarism. You'll notice this is what I've used before as a search term. And then you want to find an article that sounds interesting or, something that sounds interesting to you and take a look at that. So let's do this one. This is from a university library. When we are reading from the internet, of course, it has all the information right here. This one's very short. I'm also going to show you how to cite from the library or from the internet. So we're going to go to the website that we mentioned earlier, scribber.com, where all the videos are from this week. And they have an AI, they have an AI, they have a citation generator that you can use. So we're going to click on the citation generator. This is currently set for MLA. We want to change that because we want to use APA. I think APA is the default, so you may not have to choose it, but I was using it for something else. So anyway, save changes. We paste the URL that we just copied in here, and we click the cite button. And we have the citation already provided for us. So we're going to copy this to the clipboard, go back over here. You'll notice I'm putting it first because all reference lists are in alphabetical order. Um, I'm gonna try the match formatting. It should work. I don't know why it didn't work with the other. No, I don't know what's going on with that. Hmm. All right, well, let's do keep text only. And then the article title this time was in italics. So we're going to put this whole thing in italics. So again, with this one, you could just use the website address. That's absolutely fine for this first assignment, but you are going to be using real, honest to goodness, full APA citations down the road. Okay. So once we have that, we will come up here, we will write our paragraph, we'll answer all three of the questions, we'll write the summary, we'll do all those fun things, and then you're ready to submit your work. So we're going to save this. We're going to go back to the assignment. Mm, Should be. Let me just open Blackboard from here. It's going to be quicker, I think. Okay, so we're going to go to, oh, I want to be in sample. Oh, I already am. You want to go to the assignment in Unit 2, and we click on this link, and you notice now this drives me absolutely crazy, but there's nothing I can do about it. You do not want to create a submission. You want to upload a file. I don't know why it's set that way. I think it's just something that Blackboard does. But creating a submission is where you just have a box to type in, and that is not going to be how you turn in these formal writing assignments. So browse local files. I saved it on my computer in my documents folder. It's got the file here. You will click on I agree to submit my paper to the global reference database, and you will click submit. You will also eventually see a preview of your document. Now, the preview sometimes looks weird. Don't worry about that. The real file is attached, but this one turned out fine. Sometimes it has a weird formatting thing, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, that's it. That's how you submit your writing assignments. So, those are the two things you need to do this week. You've got both a discussion board and a formal writing assignment. If you need help with it, let me know. And especially if you have questions about it now, you can come to the workshop tomorrow night and ask those questions sort of in person, at least via Teams. Otherwise, feel free to send me a message or to post a question about the assignment to the Ask the Instructor discussion board. All right. Everybody take care. I hope you had a great week 1, and I will see you back here next Monday if I don't see you tomorrow night in our workshop. Take care, everybody.